Hello and welcome to another Fox 411 and Kiss Country Neighborhood News, all brought to you by the great folks at CG Health out there at Plaza West Shopping Center, cghealth.com online. Today, here on the screen, or you might be listening to us here on our sound that we have on our websites as well. But we appreciate it. Mary Ingham is here from Crisis Intervention, and so is Sheriff Kevin Pals.
Some
How
people
are
may.
you guys?
I'm doing great. Thank you.
I'm doing well also.
I meant to clap for you too, Sheriff, but I just
That's okay. I'll catch up with you later.
Yeah, I'm sure you will. I think you were following me the other day. Did you run the plates and realize it was me and just turned off, or what?
I did not. No, it was not me.
So somebody else was tailgating me.
Yep.
Yeah.
It might have been me. Sorry.
You don't want to look too much in the rearview mirrors, because you want to make sure you keep driving straight.
Are you a honker, Mary? I mean, will you just blow on your horn?
No.
No. Okay.
I am a very patient, friendly driver, typically.
Typically.
Maybe only one in North Iowa.
I thought something kind of funny happened the other day. Well, it turned out to be kind of funny. I was just like looking at him like, what's going on? I was up in Minneapolis. We were leaving the game. You know how crazy it is after a football game, with traffic and stuff. I was on the inside lane and ready to turn left or whatever. And some dude on my right came over and just turned left right in front of me. And I'm like, we in Minneapolis. And, and he waved. He just waved.
Well, that was nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it is today when we're recording this. It is National Forgiveness Day. So,
that's a good day.
I would have hugged it out with him.
Hey, it's also favorite morning show day today too.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know that.
Right.
Well, I'll have to tell my favorite morning show hello.
Yeah. Go right ahead and do that.
All right, let's get serious. We're here because October, which is just around the corner. I know it's still September when we recorded this, actually, but it's Domestic Awareness Month. And we have had this talk many times, Sheriff and Mary, and it's always going to be here, unfortunately. Domestic Awareness Month, Domestic Abuse Awareness Month. Is that okay?
Yep.
Should have added that one more word in there. And a lot happens behind closed doors.
Yeah, and sometimes out in public, like May City Police just brought one in this morning. So
Really?
7:30 a.m.
Really? Does it start in the house and then it's carried out to the outside or what?
Well, yeah, he was inside. They had some unwanted guests and kind of went bad from there.
Oh.
Family involved type thing, or that's
another victim. Yep, it was domestic. Right? Yep, it was domestic.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yep.
But how can we? Is there any way that it could ever be fixed, Sheriff or Mary?
Let me start because I have a little more sunshine and flower outlook on the world than the sheriff. It's pretty simplistic. If people could just remember back to preschool or kindergarten and what their teachers told them, be kind to others, play nice, don't hit other people, don't raise your voices, don't use bad names. It's all about respect and kindness and love, which seems pretty simple.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in a relationship with someone you don't care for, move along. You don't have to use violence to solve your problems. I think one of the challenges is so many people today are growing up witnessing power and control and abuse in the home and don't know another way. But I'm hoping that someday, my dream is before I retire, is to be able to come to one of our radio interviews and say, we've solved it.
Yeah.
Everyone's living in peace and harmony. Do a little mic drop and go rest on a beach.
See, I remember back in the day, they always said if a girl kicks you in the shin, she likes you. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I've heard that before.
Yeah.
And And
I know his wife pretty well, so
Yeah.
I think that's probably truth statement. What's that, Mary?
and it's one of those things, and I don't want to necessarily mock your child, your growing up years, Jay, but I think it's some of those pretty casual comments that we make even to children,
Mhm.
because I heard too, if a boy picks on you, he likes you.
Right.
Wouldn't it be great if we could talk to young people about, if you like someone, you can tell them. You don't have to pick on them, because I think it often sends that message of, I'm in an abusive relationship, but maybe he's just abusive or she's abusive and controlling because they really love me and they want what's best for me, because that's what they often say.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
So I think some of it starts with just being honest with young people in your life from an early age, and having that go through your entire lifespan.
I think too, and this is probably not talked about enough, or I mean, I'm sure it's talked about, but just not enough about how you've heard me say before, everyone has issues. I don't care who you are. We all have our own issues. And a lot of those issues could be stemmed. I learned a lot about this in recovery from your childhood. So both of you could probably answer this question. How often do you see a repeated thing in family where, you got calls to go to some type of domestic situation, and then those kids grow up and they're doing the same doggone thing. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
and
that's true.
nobody took the time to look into these issues.
Mhm.
And we do. A lot of us have issues based on our childhood.
Yeah.
And you again, so you go ahead and reiterate on that, I guess.
Well, I was going to say one thing before Mary shares. I think one thing that's changed, at least in Iowa, I know for sure, since 1996, when the Iowa domestic abuse law changed, there is now help available for abusers and victims that wasn't available back in the 50s and 60s and 70s. So
Wonderful.
I think even though, like our stats went up in the mid 90s when that law changed that made law enforcement mandatory arrest when we see physical abuse and we can identify the abuser. Even though the stats went up then, it's held pretty steady, up and down, a little bit at a time. But I think the help is available. And I do know that if you're convicted of domestic abuse nowadays, it is mandatory to take a class to learn how to control your behavior, your anger, how you treat others. I mean, and the schools are doing a great job trying to teach people good citizenship. But I think sometimes what we don't think about is the same thing you brought up: family history, our genetics, our all the other issues with drugs and alcohol that continue and add to this, that fuel the fire. And this morning they were all intoxicated on this domestic. Well, we can't control that; only they can. We pick up the pieces. And go ahead, Mary, if you want to add into that.
I agree with everything. I think the sheriff and I have both been doing our jobs here for several years, so we have seen multiple generations of people using power and control in their relationships as well as victims. So I think we see that pattern continue. What I hope that we will start to see is a shift in those social norms. When we talk about mandatory arrest, for me it seems like it was a lifetime ago, but it was 1995. And I also know for many people out there, 1995 is indeed a lifetime ago. But my hope is that we'll start to see those changes. And as much as we enjoy our positive relationship with law enforcement, I don't know that this is a problem that we can arrest our way out of. The reality is this is a public health problem. The sheriff and his deputies, law enforcement can do everything out there, but still, this is a largely still a silent problem that a lot of people keep within their family, keep within their small circle. And we need everyone to step up and help intervene, get support to the victim, and help the person using violence to find other ways to deal with whatever's happening in their life.
Well, that's what I was going to kind of ask you and say, how can you tell or approach somebody that's being abusive to somebody to get them to go get help?
I think a lot of it depends on the relationship. I mean, if it's your friend or family member, I think just being honest, like, hey, I'm worried about you. I've seen this behavior. You need to get help before you hurt somebody. You're gonna, do you want your children to grow up behaving this way? And I mean, the other piece is, if you're in a bad relationship and neither party wants to be there and you're just sticking it out for the kids,
Get out.
all you're doing is damaging your children.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
so, I mean, go to counseling, get couples counseling, get some help for both of you, or find other ways.
I think
But I think just being honest and sharing your concerns is a good way to start.
Do you think people just have too much hope that it's going to change? Is that what they do? That's why they don't get out? Or what?
I think until it affects you and your loved ones, well, I'm not going to say anything. I think that's a lot of it. I wouldn't say it's apathy, but I don't know. Just nobody wants to get involved. Look all the violence we've had in the last few years in America, and I think people are just, hey, if it's not me or my loved ones, I'm not gonna get involved. And I think we need, as human beings, to help others out, because a lot of people don't know any better. I talked to a guy in jail this morning. You cannot change the past. You can only change today and the future. That's all you can change. All the wrongs you've done in the past, you can't change, but you can move forward and you can make a difference in other people's lives too. I mean, I think there's hope, and I think law enforcement thinks there's hope, but I think sometimes when people are in situations like this, I think they do lose a little hope.
Mm-hmm. Talking to Mary Ingham of Crisis Intervention Service. The phone number, by the way, it's scrolling for those watching the video. It's 641-424-9133, or you can go to cishelps.org. And also Sheriff Kevin Pals. So explain the process if people want to know what they should do in an instant. Who gets the call first? Explain that process and how you guys piggyback each other.
Go ahead, Mary.
I'd say if you see someone being abused, if you are concerned about someone's safety, call 911.
Okay.
That is the best place. There's live dispatchers that will take that call. They'll stay on the line with you. They'll get all the information you need or they need to respond. And maybe what you've seen is just two people playing and having fun. Maybe what you've seen is a crime occur and someone's life is in danger. The number one thing is do something about it. The worst thing you can do is just turn away and say, this isn't my problem. Right. People have no problem calling law enforcement for a stray dog, loud music, and all sorts of other, I don't want to say silly things, but I can't think of a better word for it right now. So do it when it involves humans. If you are concerned about someone in your life, like, hey, I think my coworker is being abused, or I'm worried about my mom, I'm worried about my brother, I think a good place to start is our helpline. It's answered 24 hours a day by a real live human being.
Right.
And to just kind of talk through, here are some options for you. And we can help give people the tools to find the words to have that conversation with someone, to give them hope that there can be a better life. So I think those are the two different types of situations. If it's an immediate crisis, 911 is the best route to go.
Sure.
Yep.
But some of them might be just concerned. And I can see them just giving you guys a call right away, just saying, hey, listen, this is on my mind.
Yeah.
And I don't want to get to that point. I just have it. It's on my mind. Can we talk about it? That's what you need, is that phone call.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what we're here for. We've got staff that take those calls all the time. Mm-hmm. And, we have a lot of people calling concerned about their friends and family. My gut tells me some of those people are maybe really concerned about themselves.
Right.
And it doesn't matter. All of our services are free and confidential. So you don't have to call and say, hey, this is Harry. I'm concerned about my daughter.
Right.
Um,
Right.
Everything we provide is free and confidential.
And Sheriff, when you show up at a domestic dispute or some sort of, and you have to do your job,
Yep.
I'm sure that then you look at the people that are the victim or whatever, or victims, and say, hey, get a hold of crisis intervention. I'm assuming that's what you do then.
Yeah. Yeah. In our county and most counties in Iowa, we have protocol for domestic abuse response. And we have meetings monthly to talk about this on our agencies. And when we arrive to a scene like that, then we have crisis come to the scene sometimes. Sometimes they meet the victim somewhere else. Sometimes they'll call the victim later. But yeah, we do mandatory. It's mandatory for our officers in our county to call crisis intervention on domestic abuse situations. Even if the victim doesn't want to follow through, that initial contact is made. And we also refer people to crisis intervention all the time too.
Yeah. Now, a lot of when you talk about this in like a relationship, a lot of times you think it's the guy that's the abusive one, but that's not always the case.
No, still about 90% are male offenders compared to female offenders. But with that said, we do have males that are being abused also.
And
not just physically, but just verbally.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Mentally, verbally, it's all there.
And how many domestic abuse percentage wise are based on substance abuse?
In my opinion, we don't keep that statistic, but it's close to 80%. It's very high.
Oh,
very
wow.
high.
Crazy. We should ask them too, Jay, about the Remember My Name event that is coming up here. When is that, and what's going on with that?
It is scheduled for October 6th on Friday at noon at the Mason City Public Library. It will be in the Mason City room. For people that cannot attend in person, we will also be live streaming it on our Facebook page. But this is an event where we honor the memory of Iowans that have been killed as a result of domestic violence since 1995. We tie a ribbon on a tree for every life that has been lost. So it's a very somber and moving presentation, but it's something I wish we could. I'd love everyone out there listening today to come to the event on the 6th and learn more about what's happening in your community.
Do you get a lot of people come out to that event?
We do.
Yeah.
It's a very it's a great event for family members and friends that have lost someone. As much as they might hate the way their loved one died, they find comfort in talking to others who have been through something similar.
Sure.
I think we can all fortunately say, I can't imagine what it would be like to lose a child to violence. But there are people in our communities that know exactly what that feels like. And I think it's great that we can be there to provide them support and then also connect them with others who have been through something similar.
I would think even through time, Mary, that these are the people that make the best volunteers to help you, maybe.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We've had several of the people that attend this event every year. They'll reach out to other attendees ahead of time. If they know there's going to be a new family, they want to make sure that they can greet them and make them feel welcome, which is powerful. We've had several of them work on making changes to the law on how either civil or criminal remedies are handled. So, I think that's one of the greatest, a great way for people to start to heal from that trauma.
All right.
The Fox 11 Neighborhood News, Kiss Country. Thank you both, Mary and Sheriff, for joining us today and getting that out for the October is the awareness for the abuse, domestic abuse awareness. There we go.
Yep.
Thanks
for having us.
Yeah.
You bet.
Anything more you guys want to add? I think we covered quite a bit of ground here. So
We did. Yeah. Just come out Friday, October 6th for free lunch, and it'll be a great program.
you betcha. Thank you for all you do, guys. I mean,
Yes, thank you.
guys are the heartbeat of what's going on when it comes to domestic abuse, and always being there. And you've been there for a while, and
Decades.
it's always nice to see Mary smiling,
I know it.
because she's got a very well. You both have a very difficult job, but and in a world today where there's so much unknowns, you could see a lot of hope in both of you, and appreciate that very much.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
You betcha. All right. And of course, we want to thank CG Public Health, cghealth.com, for the interview today.